Here we have the daily chart for Supermicro Computer Incorporated, stock ticker SMCI. So as we can see here, the stock has taken a major downturn here in recent trading sessions. And this is another example of some of the factors that I have been watching with this stock for quite a while now. As I said during the July 11 trading session, I firmly believed that the stock market as a whole was going to start to diverge a bit. And I thought that this would be especially true within the technology sector. Specifically, what I was saying was that I thought there would start to be some winners and losers within the technology space. In other words, I stopped believing that the technology portion or sector of the stock market would continue to trade in lockstep. So in other words, if Nvidia has a good day, maybe everybody in the technology sector has a good day. The July 11 trading session for me was really kind of a line in the sand. I do think that the tide turned during that trading session, and I started to believe that we were going to start to see some winners and losers here. As things currently stand, Supermicrocomputer is definitely turning out to be one of the losers. I definitely think that this is a great company, but I think there are major issues with this stock chart. We will need to take a look at some of these specific price levels here so that we can understand exactly what's going on here. So specifically, this prior resistance zone that I was pointing to came in at $970. This was roughly a triple top. You could even call it maybe a quadruple top resistance zone that was most recently tested during the July 15 trading session. So this comes right after this July 11 trading period that I was talking about. And as we can see here, the stock really took a dive in the trading periods that followed, in the weeks that followed. We really have not seen very much upside price action here. If we sort of drill in a little bit, the best instances of bullish activity we could see here is, if we were to move into like a 15-minute chart or something like that, we could probably see, a little bit of a range trade during this. Roughly, this would be the July 25th trading session. So we would have seen a bit of upside price movement here. But overall, if we're pulling out on the daily chart, we can see that this is really a very small trading range, and that this upside direction was extremely minimal. This is not much for bulls to really sink their teeth into. And as a result, the share price wasn't really able to gain much traction. And this discouraged many people from entering into the stock with substantial long positions. So as we can see here, the final move here was another collapse to the downside is really all you could really call this. We saw prices trade into resistance zones roughly around 732 and then fall all the way to this support zone, which is now found at 528.62. So these are massive moves here in a very short period of time, and not all technology stocks are behaving like this. I just did a video on Palantir, which is another kind of popular technology stock, and that stock is posting near term highs. I mean, that stock recently broke above the $30 handle. I suggest people take a watch that video, because you'll really see kind of a tale of two stocks type of situation there, with Palantir moving clearly in the upward direction, and then the exact mirror opposite results occurring with Supermicrocomputer. So this is a bit worrisome here, and it does suggest that there are some real issues that need to be answered with this stock. So currently, what we're looking at is a support zone that will need to be tested right around the $500 mark. I mean, we're trading above here at the moment, but the next level of support that I'm watching to the downside really does come in at this 528.62 area. If we do see a break below here, we have to look at these final long-term lows here, which did post below the $500 mark. Ultimately, we did see lows of this would be 478.56 during the August 8 trading session. So, if we were to move down to the 15-minute chart here, there is a bit of support here just above the 525 mark. But if we do break below there, we are then going to have to retest these prior range lows, which came in below the $500 mark. So as things currently stand, we have to kind of reassess, where the momentum is really centering itself, because longer term, if we take a very long-term view here, we can see that the positive direction has been the dominant direction for this stock. Share prices really exploded at the beginning of this year, roughly the middle of January. So we can see here that share prices ultimately rose to roughly $1,230 in a very short period of time. But we've now given back most of those gains. We've retraced more than 78.6% of that move. So, the ultimate downside target here, if we're going to look at this stock on a Fibonacci basis, the next level of support now to the downside doesn't come in until roughly 305. So these are very significant moves here to the downside. And there are real questions here about where the bottom will actually be. Currently, I am expecting support to develop around this 528.62 level. However, as I said, these prior lows at 478.56 will remain quite important for the stock because we're currently trading below all of the major exponential moving averages. In addition to that, you have to look at the indicator reading on this chart, which is still pointed in the downward direction. We have recently moved out of oversold territory, which is interesting. This does suggest, on the face of it, on this basis alone, this does suggest that we might have found a bottom here at this 478 level. However, we really do need to see some upside momentum here and a break of these prior resistance levels. Currently, for me, the real level to the top side to watch next comes in at roughly 663.20. If we're able to break above there, that means that we would break through a support turned resistance area that also marks roughly the bottom of the daily exponential moving average cluster. So if we could at least move into that area, that would take pressure off of the downside. It's a bit difficult to move out of the exponential moving average cluster once you enter into it, sort of like a vacuum chamber, and you can sort of ping pong around, bounce back and forth between the exponential moving averages, and it can be difficult to get out of that area once you're in it, but it's better than being below it. Let's put it that way. At least the momentum is not focused in the downside direction. So as things currently stand, the dominant trend momentum here does still point downward. However, bulls have a little bit of hope here because if we move in here, we can also see that the exponential moving average cluster is relatively close by. We're coming in at roughly 641 is where the 20 period exponential moving average rests for the daily chart. And then in addition to that, you have a relative strength index reading that is breaking above its own exponential moving average. So as we can see here, the purple line is breaking above the yellow line. So there are some glimmers of hope here. There is some suggestion here that this 478 support zone will actually be the bottom. However, if this breaks, we're looking at a test of the low 300s. So here's the current market analysis for Supermicro Computer Incorporated, stock ticker SMCI. Our high value trading strategies membership is currently available for a limited time for only $9.99 per month. These high conviction investment strategies are characterized by superior risk to reward metrics that target massive market beating returns over time. Join now to outperform the market. Lock in this special introductory rate of just $9.99 per month for the entire lifetime of your membership and start trading stocks with the pros.